Good afternoon and welcome to this session of Parent U, where we're going to be discussing the upcoming bond election and how it affects Rio Rancho Public Schools. My name is Wyndham Kemsley. I'm the Communications Director for the district. And before we get going, I just want to say some introductory comments. I'm joined today by Michael Baker, who is the Chief Operations Officer for the district, as well as Patrick Martinez, who's the Executive Director of the Facilities Department, and Kurt Schmidt, who is the Executive Director of our Fine Arts Department for Rio Rancho Public Schools. To get going, I just want to remind everybody we do have a chat function for questions available to you during this live stream. If you have any questions regarding the material at hand, please feel free to utilize that chat feature. We just ask that you keep questions and comments related to the topics that we're going to be discussing today. If you have any other questions about anything else, please feel free to use the email address communications@rrps.net. Again, this is being live streamed, but if you're watching this after the fact and you have questions, please feel free to use that email address and we'll get those questions answered for you. With that, I think I'll go ahead and pass it over to Michael Baker to present today's material.
Oh, thank you, Wyndham, and thank you, everybody, for joining us. What we will be doing is I will be going through a slide presentation that the purpose is to provide information from the school district on a proposed bond this election cycle. And so I will be sharing the PowerPoint. And as Wyndham said earlier, please, if you have any questions, you can write them in the chat. Or what we will do is we will stand for questions after the presentation. There's a lot of material here. What I plan on doing is going through it fairly quickly so we can have time for questions. So bond election 2023 for Rio Rancho Public Schools. So one of the first things that we did was we organized a committee in order to review a vast array of different project needs for the schools. The committee included a variety of number of people, staff members, board members, community leaders, and parents as well. And some of the things that we looked at in order to come to a consensus was we took a look at our primary document, which was the 5-year facility master plan, some other district needs, potential bond projects, the cost of those projects, and the committee prioritized those projects, knowing that we simply were not going to have enough money to get all of these projects completed. The projects and the priorities were presented and approved with the school board on May 15th of 23. The election is coming up. It is going to be on Tuesday, November 7th, 2023, and it will be here before we know it. The bond measure that we will be asking for, there will actually be 2 different questions. The first question will be on the bonds, and that's a general obligation bond in the amount of $80 million, and that will be issued in 4 increments over 4 years. The second measure is what we call SB 9 or Senate Bill 9 measure, which is approximately just under $5.5 million each year for 6 years. And very quickly, what the difference typically is between bond and SB 9, typically our bond money is mostly spent on capital improvements, whereas our SB 9 measure typically is spent on actual repair and maintenance. There is some overlap, but that typically is the distinction. Okay, something. There we go. Okay. Now, one of the things that we're looking at this year is that we want to partner with the Public School Facility Authority, or PSFA. And we have realized, because of the aging nature of our facilities, that potentially we can leverage state financing with local financing. And we estimate that we could receive, in addition, $32 million in match from PSFA for the projects. So this would be a total of $112 million to improve Rio Rancho Public Schools. And by doing this, it really helps meet a lot of our needs. So we have 10 projects, or 10 groupings of projects. And one of the key elements to this is that the school district is on what we call a bonding cycle. And what that means is that when we issue new bonds, we are also paying off older bonds. And in that way, the tax rate for the property owners essentially stays the same. So if the voters vote yes, there will be no tax rate increase on property owners for Rio Rancho. The first project is the safety and security upgrades and classrooms additions, specifically at Rio Rancho High School, Cleveland High School, and Lincoln Middle School. And I will be going over all of these projects in a little bit more detail. The second project is roof replacements. The third, additional preschool space. The fourth, a new Independence High School. The fifth, drainage improvements. The sixth, plumbing, electrical, and HVAC upgrades. The seventh, IT infrastructure projects. Number 8, special education program support. Number 9, fine arts production space and band room at Rio Rancho High School. And number 10, athletic field improvements. In regard to project number 1, safety and security, we know that safety and security in our school environment is probably one of our most important priorities. And what we're doing is we're starting a new project, which we actually started. It's called the Evolve system. What the Evolve system does, it essentially, it kind of looks like a modified metal detector, but it's much more than a metal detector. And what it does is it actually detects weapons. So when individuals walk through, again, something that looks like a metal detector, it looks for the material of a weapon and the shape of a weapon. And so what we want to do is we want to have these systems in our schools to ensure that no student is bringing a weapon on campus. And so in order to accomplish that, we need some infrastructure changes to our schools. And we also need to firm up what we call the perimeter environment. And in this way, that all the students are required to actually pass through this detection system, and thereby our students would be greatly protected. The biggest part of this entire project really resides at Rio Rancho High School. We have a number of portable buildings at Rio Rancho High School that are kind of on the outlying part of the property. We want to bring those students into an inner perimeter. And in order to do that, we actually need to build a new building. And those portable buildings are well beyond their lifespan. And we need literally, if the bond passes, we will literally take those portables to the dump. The other part of this project has to do with taking the old gym at Lincoln Middle School and converting those into classrooms. And in the process of doing that, we would also provide some security upgrades, which would include additional access control and cameras at Lincoln. The cost of these projects is approximately $13.2 million. with the state match of approximately 10 million. So we're looking at over 23 million on this project, but you can see by leveraging state funding how much more we can get, for the folks in Rio Rancho. Roof replacements. We know this is not really a real fun project, but it is extremely necessary. Our buildings, our school buildings in Rio Rancho are aging, believe it or not. And some of our roofs, they just need to be replaced. And those roofs are at Colinas, Maggie, Lincoln, and Rio Rancho High School. The cost of the district would be approximately 8.3 million, with a state match of approximately 7.6 million. Next project is additional preschool space. And so one of the things that the state of New Mexico has done is they've really put a lot of money into pre-K. And we only service approximately 30% of our pre-K population here in Rio Rancho. And the reason is fairly simple, is we simply do not have the funding capacity in order to service the entire population, and we don't have the facility. So we want to expand our facilities. The cost to us is approximately 1.9 million. The state match would be approximately 3 million. Another project is to actually build a new Independence High School building. The building simply does not meet the requirements for an increased population. And these students, as you may or may not be aware, we have two comprehensive or very large high schools, Rio Rancho High School and Cleveland High School. They are typically well within the top 10 largest high schools in the state. Actually, I think they're maybe number 2 and number 3 as far as size and as far as student population. And sometimes students just get overwhelmed by being in that type of an environment. So Independence High School is a smaller, more intimate school where students have the ability to thrive and not necessarily be intimidated by that larger environment. That being said, we do want to increase the capacity because we do have a waiting list of students that want to go there. This new facility will cost us approximately $26 million. Next project, again, very necessary project, is we have some drainage mitigation that we have to do that has basically been eroding some of the parts of our facilities. And one of the things in the early days of Rio Rancho, all the money went into brick and mortar because we were growing so fast. We did not have the money in order to do proper landscaping or drainage mitigation. Well, now those days have come where we have to address the mitigation because it's actually causing some potential damage to the structural integrity of our facilities. Those schools include Enchanted Hills, Stapleton, Sandia Vista, Eagle Ridge, and Rio Rancho High School. Our cost will be approximately 3.3 million with a state match of approximately 1.6 million. Next project, plumbing, electrical, and HVAC upgrades. Some of our systems are aging and they have been outgrown, and some of them are just plain wore out, and we need to replace them. So electrical service at Enchanted Hills needs desperately to be upgraded. Eagle Ridge, the media center, electrical and structural building needs to be repaired. Lincoln Middle School, the plumbing needs to be replaced, and also we need to complete the ADA restrooms. Rio Rancho High School, HVAC system needs tremendous amount of work. Rio Rancho High School was built in 1997. I can't believe it is actually this old, but it's old and it needs help. And so it is incumbent upon us to ensure that we have the proper heating and cooling at all of our schools. And in this manner, our students would be in a much more better environment in order to learn. And we know that if kids are too hot or too cold, they're not going to be focusing on learning. Our cost is approximately $14.3 million. The state would match that with approximately $10 million. IT infrastructure. Nowadays, we can't do anything without a computer. And our computer network is so important to us. Without a good, robust, and secure network, we're kind of dead in the water. So every year we continually upgrade our system, ensure that our system is secure. We want to make sure that we protect everybody's personal information, students and staff alike. And the cost to the district there is approximately $550,000. Next project is special education program support. Again, if the voters vote yes for this, when we relocate Independence High School, the old Independence High School would essentially be refurbished. That space essentially would be kind of a one-stop shop for special education services, and there's a vast array of those type of services with all kinds of specialties that our special needs students throughout the district require. In addition to that, we have what we call Desert Pathways. It's a very small facility. The facility basically comprises of a number of portable buildings, and what we would do is we would build a new facility. Although the building is fairly small, it is extremely necessary to get this built. The cost to us is approximately $8 million. Getting towards the end, fine arts production space and band room at Rio Rancho High School. Currently, there is very little room for production space at Rio Rancho High School. And essentially what a production space is, it is attached to our Performing Arts Center. And it's an area where the students and staff could actually build sets and have an area where they can put those sets together. Cleveland High School has a pretty nice production space, and it is very conducive to that part of the performing arts work that they do. Rio Rancho High School, when it was built in 1997, they just had a very tiny space. So the plan would be, what we would do is we would take the current band room, we would renovate that into a production and storage space, and we would actually build a new band room that would be built adjacent to the performing arts building. The cost to the district is approximately $3 million. Last project is upgrading our athletic fields. The first thing on the list would be to create an ADA parking area at Cleveland. There's an area kind of between the baseball area and the softball area. In this manner, we can accommodate our population that needs pavement instead of dirt. The other thing that we would do is we would replace the infield turf at both campuses, Rio Rancho High School and Cleveland, for baseball and softball. We would also respray the tracks at both Rio Rancho High School and Cleveland. Total cost is approximately $1.3 million. Some other noteworthy projects that is ongoing. Probably one of the biggest projects is the Career Technical Education Center. This center has been funded through the 2019 bond. So we're already funded on this. This is more or less just an update. We're scheduled to complete this at the end of 2024 with the spring opening of 2025. We are currently in the design phase, and hopefully our plans will actually be completed fairly soon. The building, we purchased the building some time ago. It's approximately 74,000 square feet. And a real positive is that Rio Rancho Public Schools and C&M really got together and said, how can we do this together in order to leverage funding from both entities in order to get more for our students? That partnership is actually going along very, very well. C&M, they're going to build on the same property a beautiful automotive center that will take care of automotive, electric vehicle, and diesel vehicles as well. And Rio Rancho, out of this facility, will have trades such as welding, plumbing, pipe fitting, residential carpentry, electrical, solar, multimedia, computer information systems, and food management. Some of those classes right now are underway at the C&M Rio Rancho campus. Just want to talk a little bit about SB9. There is often confusion between what's a bond and what is SB9. Our SB9 public school capital improvement tax, again, we would receive approximately $5.5 million each year for 6 years. And it doesn't only provide funding for Rio Rancho Public Schools, but also provides funding for the area charter schools, such as the Ask Academy, SABE, and Explore Academy as well. Again, typically the focus of these funds are repair and maintenance. Again, this is a 2 mil levy tax, and if the voters vote yes, there will be no increase in the tax rate, because this is we already have this now, and again, as we pay off the prior SB9, this new one essentially would replace it. So some common questions. Taxes. Will there be any increase to my tax rate if both measures are approved? No. When do we go and get to vote on this? Election Day, November 7th, 2023. Again, if you want to learn more, please visit our website at www.rrps.net. So with that, I think I went through it fairly quickly. I will stand for questions, or our group will stand for questions.
Thank you. Right now, it doesn't look like we have any questions in the chat currently, but we want to encourage you, if you do have questions, please post those and we can get those answered during this live stream. I also wanted to give out some information about the Evolve technology. We actually did a Parent U session about that earlier in the school year. So if you are wanting to learn more about the Evolve system and its implementation across the district, please feel free to watch that Parent U. At this time, it doesn't look like we have any questions. So Michael, thank you for the presentation. Again, if you have questions after the fact, feel free to email communications@rrps.net. We'll get those questions answered quickly. All right, thank you so much. That concludes our Parent U for today. We'll see you soon. We're excited for another great school year. So thanks, and we'll see you.
Thank you.